Alright guys, welcome to the channel. What I'm going to talk about today, what I'm going to talk about today is this experience I had with my, it was my first episode of psychosis, I guess. Going to go into it in a brief kind of way. Like all I can say is at the time, I was listening to music, and it's funny how music can mess with your head sometimes. This is what I find with certain songs. I was listening to, I think it was Kings of Leon, Closer. I don't know if anyone's heard that song, but it made me think of like global warming and stuff like that. Listening to that song, it's probably just the way I was viewing it at the time, but yeah, it really messed with my head, kind of thing, and that's the best way to describe this. I started kind of noticing things like the soil was really dry and stuff. This is kind of like just before I got ill, like sort of thing. I started noticing the soil was dry and stuff like that, and I'm just trying to remember this story now. That was the first thing I really noticed. The soil was really dry, around where I lived, sort of thing, and there wasn't many worms or nothing. It was a bit strange at the time, and anyway, basically, I'm just trying to remember this story, how did this come about now? Yeah, basically, I was out of work and stuff. I was in kind of a bit into yoga at the time, but not majorly into yoga. I was more into it's more like UFC and mixed martial arts, and I got interested in someone called Hickson Gracie, who's probably considered by many the best jiu-jitsu practitioner of the Gracie family, or he was at least. And he used to do a lot of breathing exercises, so I started messing up, trying to do the same, not the same thing because I couldn't do it like he done it, but similar sort of things like breathing, deep breath exercises and stuff. I was sort of experimenting with that kind of thing, and anyway, I started noticing the soil. The first thing that happened was I started questioning, I guess you could say, the meaning of life. I think that was where it all stemmed from, kind of thing. I was out of work and I was a bit down and stuff, and various stuff was going on and stuff at the time. But yes, I remember vividly I started questioning, what are we all here for? Because I was doing a sports course, or had done a sports course, and I learnt that every living being is made up of the chemical compound adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, and basically that comes from the sun. So I started thinking, did we come from the sun, or did we come from aliens, or God, or I didn't know what to think, sort of thing. Didn't really think God, but I thought, did we come from a chemical reaction or an experiment or an alien experiment? I started thinking all this sort of stuff. And lo and behold, a few days later, I was listening to certain songs at the time as well, like I say, Kings of Leon, Closer and stuff like that. And lo and behold, I started getting unwell. I was on the bus, looked out the window, and I looked like what I could see was someone convulsing, looking like they were possessed. And I thought, what's all that about? What's going on? And I got ill very quickly, sort of thing. I remember the one night I turned the TV on and it said, what did it say? It said 6/4, 2009, change is coming. That come up on the TV, and I thought, what's all that about? And then I've sort of read into that and what I've been seeing, people convulsing and stuff and looking possessed and stuff. I thought, what's going on, sort of thing, and I thought I could see zombies at the time and stuff. And so what I'd done was I ran this goes back to the breathing exercises. Basically, I know I'm sounding crazy, but this was just my experience at the time. It will sound nuts to most people. it sounds nuts to me now, to be honest. It sounds completely nuts to me now, to be honest. But bear in mind, I was very unwell at the time, so it's kind of what it was my experience through my like ill health or mental ill or ill mental health sort of thing. So yeah, but anyway, I ran this bath as hot as I could bear, and yeah, for some reason I had it in my head to start doing these breathing exercises that I'd seen Hicks and Gracie do, like in the bath. I had some other things as well. Don't ask me what made me do it, but I had like different things in the bath with me and stuff. But yeah, that's not neither here nor there though. But yeah, yeah, basically I started doing these breathing exercises that I'd seen Hicks and Gracie do. And anyway, the water started bubbling around my body, and I felt like I was breathing the heat into my body. That's the only way I can describe it, through these breathing exercises. But bear in mind, I was very ill at the time, so I'm sure now, looking back on it, it was complete delusion. Like nothing in it whatsoever. I'm sure it was complete delusion, but this was my experience at the time, sort of thing. And anyway, as I done this, I had my eyes closed, and I don't know what made me do this. I don't know what led me to do this, but I imagined myself on a beach with the sun coming down on me, and I could see, like, as I closed my eyes, I could see, like, I guess I don't know what you call it, light or the sun or something in like my mind's eye or my third eye or whatever you want to call it. Pineal gland. Everyone's got a different term for it. Anyway, imagine the sun coming down on me on a beach, and I tried to connect to the sun or the light in my mind's eye or my third eye or whatever you want to call it. And then, like, I thought the sun came down on me through my house. This was in the middle of the night, bear in mind. Come down through the roof and everything onto me, and yeah, it was a bit of a bizarre experience. But like anyway, I was getting pictures out and saying I've got to take everyone to heaven with me and stuff like this. Like, I weren't thinking clearly, obviously. Do you know what I mean? I was watching TV and there was a narrative and stuff. Like, I was watching music videos and I felt like they were telling me stuff and all sorts of stuff. I can't even remember what it was about now because it was so long ago. But yeah, I weren't well at all, basically. And yeah, anyway, like, my dad took me to hospital the next day. Yeah, and I ended up being taken into hospital. To cut the long story short, and I was going to say, yeah, but as I was being taken, me and my dad got separated at one point, and I weren't trusting anyone because I thought everyone was zombies. And like, the police basically said, you've got to get into the ambulance, or otherwise we're gonna like put you in there by force. I got in there voluntarily anyway, like, sort of thing. And yeah, what else happened? Got in there, yeah, but it was weird because I felt like when we were driving, I felt like all the electricity in the tower blocks we were driving past and everything, and places we were driving past, I felt like I was getting energy from it. It was crazy. I felt like I had like superpowers kind of thing. And yeah, like, it was really bizarre for a while I was in hospital. It was all illness, obviously all illness, do you know what I mean? Obviously, but yeah, it's kind of bizarre. Like, it's funny what the devil can do to your head, like, to make you believe things and make you believe you've got superpowers and stuff. Yeah, it's a bit of a mad one. Like, if it was the devil, but I think it must have been the devil looking back, to be honest. But either way, now, like, knowing what I know now, I think it was all mental illness, basically. Delusions, and yeah, I don't think any of it was really like real, or like, yeah, or if it was part of the devil's plan. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, like, it was like lots of strange things happen. Like, I remember the first day I was in hospital, I looked out the window and I thought I could see a green spaceship in the sky, and I felt like and before I went into hospital, I had a text off a girl I was seeing. And I thought she was one of these, I guess you could say, I thought she was look, because I got a text out the blue, like, and it was just like very specific. Like, I can't remember what it said, but I thought it was from an alien, like, at the time, and then I thought it was from her, and I thought she was an alien, and it was just it's absolute craziness. Like, look, talking about it now, I can't even get my head around it. It's that nutty, like, but at the time, it all made sense to me, as people with mental ill health or mental illness can probably attest to. Like, sometimes things seem crazy, but they make sense to you at the time. Looking back, they seem like complete gobbledygook and absolute nonsense, but at the time, they kind of mean something to you. So yeah, it was kind of like that. But yeah. Anyway, I seen this green spaceship in the sky and stuff, and then I remember I was ill for a while, and like seeing different things. Like the first time, I've probably mentioned this in a previous video. I was playing cards with a few people in the hospital, and some woman came into the room. She winked at me, and her face went blood red, and I thought, that's the devil, like. And that was the very first experience with the devil. This is what ties it all in, which makes me think, do you know what I mean? It was just my mental health, and yeah, it was just the devil playing games with me, basically trying to lead me away from finding God, or yeah, trying to lead me away from the right path, sort of thing. It was all tricks and whatnot, because I started thinking about like the meaning of life and stuff. It was all to get in there first, so I didn't seek out the Bible and stuff. I can kind of see that now, but I couldn't see it at the time. But I think that's exactly what it was now. Like, but yeah, and then when I got out of the hospital, I was like, wherever I went, I'd see people's face go blood red, and I didn't like smoking because I don't smoke. So like I always felt like people were blowing smoke on me and stuff, really mad stuff, like, and or blowing smoke near me and stuff. So I'd like smell it or taste it or whatever, and yeah, it was a bit bizarre, like. But what else? Yeah, and there was this. For a while, like, I didn't know what to make of it, or I thought it probably was legit aliens and stuff. But now looking back, I realise it was all part of the devil's tricks and scams, basically. But at the time, I wasn't sure what to think. Like, I remember once I was in a train station, and I seen a pigeon, and it was like an injured pigeon, and yeah, I looked at it with compassion, and then I turned my head, and there was like an Asian lady with a headscarf, and she turned her head, and her eyes were like jade green, like it was like they were extraterrestrial eyes. But yeah, I think that was the devil messing with me, sort of thing. I think it's all the devil messing with me, kind of thing. The whole lot of it. They made me think they were good aliens when probably they were fallen angels or demons. You know what I mean? So that's what I think looking back now. But at the time, I thought something else. Like, but now looking back, I can read between the lines, and I can see how my life's gone and everything, and what other stuff I've experienced and stuff. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the devil and fallen angels or demons or whatever you want to call it. And I mean, hell, even if it was aliens, they're probably not good aliens. Do you know what I mean? So, but I don't think it was like legit aliens. I think, but who knows? The world's a mystery. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was definitely to do with the devil there. That's all I can say, because of like the woman winking at me and just everything that happened since then, and eventually me finding my faith and some of the stuff I've talked about in the other videos, kind of thing. It's all like, it all ties in with the fact that there's a devil and there's a God, kind of thing. So yeah, that's what I believe myself personally. I'm pretty much 100% sure that is the case, because I've seen some impossible things in my life, and I thought, what science cannot explain that, and it's like strange things. I can't even explain it myself. Like, you could think of something, and a person could be wearing a t-shirt with it on there, or you could think of something and it'd be on a billboard exactly what you thought of. Or you think of someone, you think of earphones, you turn your head, someone's got earphones in their hands, stuff like that, all sorts of stuff. And I've had it with food stuff as well, when like when COVID was on, like there'd be like one exactly what I'm looking for. There'd be like one thing on the shelf and that'd be exactly what I was looking for. Or also, there's so many things I could go into, like just strange coincidences, little blessings, little curses, little all sorts of stuff, basically. But yeah, that was my first episode of Psychosis. Like, eventually I got better and stuff, and for a while I did anyway. And then I had other episodes like what I've talked about in the other videos, kind of thing. But yeah, it all led me to my ultimately all led me to my faith and belief in God, and that's what I believe now. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I believe in angels. I believe there's a devil. I believe there's fallen angels. This is what I believe. I basically believe what the Bible says. That's what I believe now. So that's what I follow. That's what I hold on to. That's what I believe in. Like, the Bible has resonated with me like big time. So everything I've experienced plus what I've read, the whole lot of it just adds up to me. Do you know what I mean? It all just adds up. So that's why I believe what I believe, sort of thing. Yeah. But yeah, that's just a little story of mine to do with kind of a bit like yoga, deep breathing exercises. I was doing stretches at the time as well, but the stretches weren't really a part of what happened. It was more the deep breathing exercises. But yeah, that's just a little bit of my my kind of experience with the whole, what do you call it, deep breathing exercises, or yoga breathing, or whatever you want to call it, and the third eye, or the mind's eye, or the pineal gland, whatever you want to call it. This is just how it manifested in my illness, sort of thing. Hope I didn't sound too crazy in this video. I sound pretty crazy in most of the videos I've done so far, but this is just me talking about some of the big things in my life that have shaped me into who I am. And yeah, my illness, basically my illness, how it manifested, and how it kind of like, how it developed me into who I am, and how it was for me back then and stuff. So yeah, I don't know if you probably think I'm crazier than a box of frogs, crazier than a Jack in the Box, crazier than, I don't know, a Chucky doll. You probably think I'm absolutely nuts, like, you know what I mean? But this is my experience, and I felt like I seen someone post another video, and I felt like it was telling me to make this video. So I feel like God, in a roundabout way, put it on my heart. So here it is. Anyway, God bless. Thanks for watching. I hope you don't think I'm absolutely bonkers, but can't do a lot about that. I've got to do what the Lord wants me to do at the end of the day. That's who I'm here to please, ultimately. Despite everyone I know, or people I don't know, or whoever thinking I'm absolutely crazy. But this is my story, so what can I do but tell my story? Do you know what I mean? Not everyone's going to agree with it, not everyone's going to understand it, but I know some people will understand it, or some people will be able to relate to it in some way. So yeah, this is why I'm putting it out there. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Feel free to leave any comments or subscribe, or yeah, just feel free to watch any videos I post in the future or anything. Much love. Thanks for watching. God bless. Bye.